My ministry, that is Ministry of Local Government, is working very closely with municipal councils to ensure there is minimal disruption to markets, particularly during this lockdown period. Now, I can talk about Suva market. The impact of lockdown was felt by the Suva market this morning when only 54% of the vendors turned up. In total, we have 677 vendors at Suva market, out of which only 368 were in the market to sell their produce. 309 vendors could not make it because of the lockdown. They live outside the lockdown area. Most of these vendors, I'm talking about these 309 vendors, they come from Tailevu, they come from Singatoka, they come from Nandronga, as well as Rewa. So they were not able to enter the lockdown area. They had to comply with the restrictions placed on them. So that's the situation with Suva. Now let's talk about Nosori market. With Nosori market, a total of 84 vendors were affected because they lived on this side of the bridge and they could not go to the Nosori market. And what we have done, we have accommodated these 84 vendors by setting up a new market in Dilkusha area through a tent. And then we have also accommodated around 45 vendors in the Hexagon complex in Davulevu and 24 vendors in Dilkusha area and 15 vendors in Narere market. So that accounts for 84 vendors who were locked out from Nosori market. Then coming to Nasinu, it's quite interesting to note that in Nasinu market, only 2 vendors were affected and we were able to accommodate them in Nosori market. But interesting to note that there were 16 casual vendors traveling from Ra to sell at Nasinu market. So these 16 vendors, we've been talking to Reki Town Council so that we can accommodate them at Reki market. Now coming back to Suva again, as I mentioned earlier on that we will be setting up a decentralized market. 2 markets have been set up. One is at UN Park, you might have seen, the tents are all up, as well as another market in Maisuva Park. The purpose of the UN market is to serve the working public, whoever is working in the offices, etc. They can just go to UN market, buy your produce and go home. Maisuva Park is serving Lodala Bay area as well as Nasese area. Now at the moment you might have seen that it's just the tent. You can't see the vendors there. So what we are doing, we are encouraging vendors to contact Suva City Council so that they can start selling from these 2 new mini markets that has been set up over the week. The AMA, this is the Agro Marketing Authority under Ministry of Agriculture, they have been assisting the vendors by buying the produce at the borders and then selling it off to the vendors at the market. And we are now encouraging those who are unemployed, they want to sell they want to start some kind of business, a small business, then we are encouraging them to come and see Suva City Council so that they can start off by selling vegetables. A time like this, the public will definitely buy vegetables. There's no way they will not buy vegetables. So at least it's a business that is guaranteed it will work. So we are encouraging people who are staying home, they don't have a job, to start thinking along that line, and they can come and occupy my Suva Park market as well as the UN market. And that will help us in complying with physical distancing, as well as giving options to the consumers so that they remain in the area, and then they wouldn't be going out here and there. It's a human nature, and particularly for consumers, they love doing comparative shopping. That's why they go from one shop to another. I would like to tell them that this is not the right time to do that, because when you go into the supermarkets, first thing you should do is just buy whatever you can and just go home. So same thing applies to markets. When you enter a market, just buy your produce, whatever you need, and immediately leave the market. Don't hang around. Don't start having long conversations with the vendors. In a normal time, all that is acceptable, but we are going through abnormal time, and therefore it's better from the safety point of view that you do your buying and off you go home. Don't stay there. So that's all I wanted to share with you. And also I wanted to share with you that there are a number of mini markets that has been set up around different parts of the country. All 13 municipal councils have decentralized their markets. They're also looking at situations. If there is need to put up more markets, they will do that. But currently, the markets they have come up with is sufficient to serve the public. But they're going to closely monitor the situation, and if they feel that there is overcrowding in markets, then they will set up a few more markets around the place. This morning, I got a call from Tavua market vendor. Tavua is controlling the crowd very well. They are able to give passes to vendors, like they give passes to the consumers. They allow only 20 consumers to enter the market, and there is an entry and exit point. But the vendor was expressing her frustration because she expected all the gates to be opened and all the consumers to be in. So it took me a while to explain to her that this is not a normal situation, and that's why the crowd is being controlled. So my message to all the vendors, that this would be the situation for now, where you will not see very big number of consumers turning up to your stalls, because we are encouraging physical distancing, and the crowd will be controlled by the municipal council staff, that is market master and his or her staff. So that is expected. We have encouraged the market masters around the country to use HALA to provide regular information to the vendors as well as to consumers. So from the Ministry of Local Government and from the municipal councils, we're doing everything we can to comply with these restrictions being placed. However, we're also encouraging the consumers as well as to vendors that they must also take this message seriously, and they must also do their best in maintaining that physical distancing that we are talking about. So that's all I had this morning to share with you. If you have any question, I'm willing to address that.
Are there penalties for vendors and market masters if they don't comply with the physical distancing rule?
At the moment, there is no penalty for physical distancing if somebody is not maintaining physical distancing. But you and I, we all know that physical distancing and staying home is extremely crucial if we want to overcome this COVID-19 crisis. That is the only way we can deal with coronavirus. There is no other way. So that's the reason why the government is encouraging the public that you maintain social distancing, or we call it physical distancing. And at the same time, please stay home. At the moment, home is the safest place for one to be in.
And for the decentralized markets, are the store fees vary for these decentralized markets, or how are they going to be rolled out?
All the decentralized market, the fees have remained same. And what we have done from today, in fact, we did the same during the lockdown period in Lautoka. We do not charge any stall fees if the vendors are not able to come to the market and sell their produce. So we don't charge them anything.
The situation in Lautoka was after a while the prices of vegetables went up. If the same issue happens here, do you have any monitoring? I know FCCC and Consumer Consultancy. Would you be pushing for vendors to not hike up their prices, urging them to?
Yeah, this is the most unfortunate situation. As you know, fruits and vegetables are not under price control. Right? So there is no way anyone can push the vendors to reduce the price. But I just want to request the vendors that please do not take advantage of the situation. You know, this is the time we all have to do the right thing, because the downturn in economy is affecting everyone. It's not just the vendors, or not just the tourism sector, or not just the garment workers, but across the board. We all are affected. So we need to be more practical in what we do, and we should, as I said, we should practice our ethics around this time to ensure that people have food on their table. That's the least we can do. And I also want to encourage people who are staying home at this moment. You know, why don't you start planting? Our Ministry of Agriculture is already giving out seeds, and this is the right time to start planting.
Minister, how would the ministry assist these 300 plus vendors in the supermarket? I know, like, some of them, this is the mean of survival, and you know, how do the ministry come in to help them?
So what we have done, we are requesting them to go to other places where the other municipal councils will assist them. Like, for example, if they are from Lemi, we can keep them in Lemi. They can sell from Lemi. If they are from Tailevu and other places, they can go and start selling from Korovo market. So we are not discouraging them at all. In fact, we are encouraging more people to start selling vegetables. That might push the price down, and it's a source of income for those who are unemployed. Okay, so thank you very much for being here.